This lesson is going to pick up where the first one left off, where I continue to 3D model this PRB25 part from Autodesk Inventor solid modeling exercises in the hub. I'm going to be completing the second point form note here, which is draw holes and slot and extrude, which should be simple enough. And step 3 says draw a 100 thou outline around the perimeter. Now, I'm probably going to be doing this piece by piece, actually, to save myself some work. It's quite a lot of sketching and constraining to be able to solve this, working with the limited amount of information that we have. So I think it's best to kind of chip away at it and work at it piece by piece. So what I'm going to do first is basically just work with this extrusion first. That's the one I'm going to select today. So we're going to start 2D sketch, and the holes, the diameters are there's 6 of them at 0.4 thou. So we're going to go circle. We're just going to touch the radius to find the center point. And I'm going to draw these at 0.4. And we also have one more down here, and it's constrained from the first hole in the bottom left to be 1 inch, and it has to be 400 thou from the bottom. All right, and before we extrude these holes, we're also going to add the slot that passes through here, this area. So again, another circle. And this one is constrained to be 0.75. So it's 3/4 in diameter. So the 0.75. So the radius would be 3/8. And I almost updated it to be the radius by accident there. 0.75. And from here to here, the center, this edge to the center point of that circle is going to be 0.9. Same thing here. And its position, it's not dimension to the center point, it's dimension from the bottom to the bottom quadrant of the circle. So that's how we'll run the dimension. Save ourselves some thinking here. So we're going to go from here. So it's not letting me do it. Okay. So we're going to go 0.8 plus 3/8. Because we have to add half the value of the diameter to this. And then from I got it to work this time. Okay. So this time from the bottom of the quadrant to the top of the quadrant, it actually lists it as 2.2. So I don't need to, get fancy there. I don't know why that wouldn't work for me just now. I know if you can get it to work, please get it to work. You know, these things are very touchy sometimes, unfortunately. So we're going to go line from here to here, create a tangent naturally, right click, left click, create line, and from here to here, and create a tangent. All right, so next we're going to trim out these radiuses, and at this point we're ready to extrude. So we're going to hit Finish Sketch, select all these profiles, and don't forget this one. This is going to be a cut, and the entire thickness of this is, we assumed it to be 1.5, and we're going to leave the 100th thou that we find along the perimeter, we're also going to leave that along the back. So we're going to subtract that. So it's going to be minus 1.5 minus 0.1, hit OK. All right. Now the real fun begins. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have to create that first profiled extrusion here, but we don't have a lot of information to do it, so we're going to be using a lot of tangent constraints to find it and position it. So we're going to go 2D sketch on this front face again, and I'm going to draw a circle again in the same origin as the radius and the hole, and I'm going to be drawing this to be 0.600. 0.600. And the reason for that is, if the diameter here is 0.400, and I need 100 thou perimeter left behind, I need to add 100 thou per side, right? So, and also the diameter of this hole, or this radius would be 0.800, right? So I have to get this in the middle, right? So I'm adding 100 thou to this side and this side, right? So that's why we're drawing it to be 0.600. So we're landing in the middle here between this radius and this radius. And then we're also going to draw another one here. And this one, we're going to do the same thing. If this slot, the original circle was 0.75, we're going to add another 200 thou to it to get 100 per side. So again, you could type 0.95. All right. We're going to leave it like that for now. And then what we're going to do, right click, left click, OK. We are going to create another circle, and we're going to draw it somewhere around here. And this is going to be 0.2. Now the reason for this is that it says all fillets are radius 0.100. So to create that, I need to actually draw a diameter. I always have to draw a diameter circle, right? So if it's a radius, I have to double it in value. That's why I'm making it 0.2, because we know radius is always half of a diameter. We're going to do the same thing on this side, 0.2. Now, how are we going to get that into position? What we're going to do is grab the tangent constraint. Now, get used to using this during the modeling of this part, because there's a lot of tangent snaps, a lot of tangent constraints need to be added. So we're going to hit tangent, we're going to select the circle and this one here. Let's zoom in on this. We're going to select the circle and then select this circle, and it's going to move it for us in a perfect tangent position. Same thing on this side. You're going to have to do this twice, one for this arc, one for the other. All right, now looking at this from the top here, we're going to draw a line from here to here as a tangent. And what we can try to do is actually draw a 2D fillet here, right? Now, when I go to trim some of these line details and arc details away, we may lose some constraints, meaning the dimensions. So they may turn green again. So that's normal because we're doing so much modification to this as we go. So for example, I'm going to be trimming this part of the arc and this part of the arc, right? Because I don't need it, and that's the start of this bottom shape, right, that we're creating here. So I don't need this part of the arc anymore, so I'm going to trim that away. And I also don't need this one or this one. So far it's so good, right? So let's also create our radius fillet here, 2D. So we're changing this to be 0.1, and we're clicking from here to here and from here to here. Okay, so that worked out, right? We were able to keep all of our constraints, and at this point we're going to hit Finish Sketch, and we're going to extrude this. This profile is going to be a cut, and it's going to extrude the same distance as before when we did the holes in the slot, because we're trying to maintain that 100 thou wall at the back of this piece. And we're going to hit OK. And that is how you complete these profiles. Now, we have to be smart about this, right? We don't want to overwork ourselves. Because this feature is identical here, I'm not going to go through that exercise all over again. I'm going to create a work plane. I'm going to center the plane, and then I'm going to mirror extrusion 3 down below. Right? I'm going to do the same thing for this profile right here. I'm going to create one, and I'm going to mirror the other one below. And then this last one is going to be created all on its own as one profile, and then constrained and extruded. So that is how I want you to complete the rest of this. So try this out and let me know how you do. And get my attention if you need a hand, please.